Hey friends, and welcome to this new video dedicated to Chapter 5 of Poppy Playtime. In this video, we'll focus on the possible faces of the new characters and the face of the prototype. As you know, Chapter 5 will introduce several new characters, but right now we still don't know what they will look like. The only thing we know for sure is the face of Experiment 1202 and the round-headed plush, but for the other characters, we still have to make guesses. By the way, in a few days, the red-haired mascot will probably be revealed too, so there will be new details to analyze and compare. We can make a connection to the Halloween artwork that Mob Entertainment posted on October 2025. Remember the artwork released on Halloween? It showed different faces on the pumpkins, and those could actually give us clues about how some of the new characters' faces will look. Now, with the fresh clues we have, we can try to make more theories and understand some things we might not have noticed before. Anyway, we're finally getting closer to the release of Chapter 5, and February 18 is getting closer and closer. There will be a lot of revelations and definitely surprises, so this is the perfect time to discuss the possible faces and make predictions together. Before diving into the video, I remind you to like the video if you enjoy this content and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you won't miss any updates on Chapter 5 and the upcoming ARG. Alright, now get ready because we're going to get into the details and start talking about the faces of the new characters and the face of the prototype. First of all, let's start with this face drawn on this pumpkin. Looking at it closely, we can notice some very details. The eyes are big and very noticeable. The mouth is quite wide and with teeth, and there are some pretty prominent eyebrows with angles. These details already give us some clues about what one of the new characters in Chapter 5 might look like. I tried to compare this face with other characters in the series, especially those who have eyebrows. However, after analyzing it carefully, there doesn't seem to be any direct match. For example, some nightmare critters have eyebrows, but the shape of the mouth is completely different. Even Catbee has eyebrows, but the mouth doesn't match at all. So, all of this leads us to think that the Halloween pumpkin face doesn't belong to any of the characters we already know. So for this reason, we can start making some theories. It's likely that this is the face of one of the new characters that will be introduced in Chapter 5. And that's not all, because if we look at the ARG image that was released with the VHS in January, we can see that there was a secret face with eyebrows. We can make this theory. There might be a direct connection between the Halloween pumpkin face and the VHS face. In other words, it's possible that they are the same face, and therefore of one of the new characters that will finally be revealed in Chapter 5. This allows us to make more precise guesses and start imagining what this character's design might look like, at least in terms of the face. In short, this small clue already gives us some confirmation and opens the door to really interesting theories. We just have to keep analyzing every detail, because every face, every little feature, could have a meaning within the story and the ARG, and who knows, maybe it will even help us understand more about the prototype and the other new characters. Well, now it's the time to analyzing this second face, which we can see on this other Halloween pumpkin. If we look at it carefully, we immediately notice that it's very peculiar because it can be interpreted in two different ways. On one hand, we can see it as having two semicircle shaped eyes, almost like half moons. On the other hand, some people might see it as a single central eye with a vertically elongated pupil. This is an interesting detail because it completely changes the feeling that the face gives. The mouth, instead, is wavy, not regular or simple like the ones we've seen on other characters in the series. This type of mouth doesn't appear on any existing character, both in the case where we interpret the face as having two eyes, and in the case where we see it as having a single central eye. So, by analyzing all these details together, we can say with certainty that this face does not belong to any character we already know, and that it most likely represents a new character from Chapter 5. Some people might think that this face is connected to Dr. Sawyer, but if we think about it carefully, that wouldn't really make sense. There is already a Halloween pumpkin dedicated to him, so it would be strange to have two representations of the same character in the same image. This strengthens the idea that we are dealing with something completely new, with a character we haven't seen before. So let's get ready, because in the game there could be a mascot or a character with a single large central eye. This would add a very interesting element to the variety of characters in Chapter 5 and makes us think that we'll see some really original and surprising designs. Every small detail on these pumpkins, every strange eye or mouth, can become an important clue about who we'll meet and what their face will look like. All in all, This second phase also allows us to make more precise theories and get closer to understanding what the world of the new characters might be like. Now let's talk about this third phase. According to many theories, this third phase could actually be the phase of the prototype. First of all, I want to give credit to my friend Lumayuso TV, because he was the first one to connect this phase to the prototype. So let's see why this phase could represent the prototype. First of all, for a long time there have been theories saying that the prototype might have a jester-like face. Not a classic and funny jester, but something much more disturbing, almost like a horror jester. And if we look closely at this face on the pumpkin, the expression really fits that idea. An unsettling smile, strange features, something that definitely doesn't feel friendly. We can connect to the New Year artwork. In that artwork, we clearly see the prototype holding a poppy flower. And if we look carefully at this Halloween pumpkin, we can see that it is placed near another pumpkin that has a poppy flower drawn on it. This proximity doesn't seem random at all and could be a visual clue meant to directly connect this face to the prototype. That's not all, because there's another important detail that we have to consider. In the latest ARG video released by Mob Entertainment, we saw that the prototype has only one eye that lights up in the dark. If we carefully observe the face on this pumpkin, we can see that there are two eyes, but only one of them has a dot drawn inside it. Once again, this detail might not be accidental and could represent that single active eye of the prototype. When we put all these elements that we saw in this part together, it becomes more and more believable that this third face really is the face of the prototype. Of course, we don't have official confirmation yet, but the clues are starting to line up more and more. Remember, it's a theory. This could be the very first real hint at what the prototype's face looks like, hidden inside a Halloween artwork and connected to clues that were revealed only months later. And if this is actually true, then Chapter 5 might finally show us something much more concrete about him. Let's get ready, because very soon the new characters will finally be revealed and we will also see their faces clearly. At that point, it will be really interesting to go back and connect the Halloween pumpkin faces with the characters we will actually meet in the game. Only then will we understand if these theories were correct or if Mob Entertainment completely misled us, as they often do. Let's do a short recap of what we have seen in this video. We analyzed the first face on the pumpkin, the one with big eyes, a mouth full of teeth and eyebrows, and we saw that it does not match any character we already know. So it could belong to one of the new characters in Chapter 5. Then we moved on to the second face, the more ambiguous one, which can be interpreted either as having two semicircle shaped eyes or as a character with one single large central eye, and even in this case, we ruled out connections with existing characters. And then we talked about the third face, the one that according to many theories could represent the face of the prototype. Between the possible horror jester appearance, the connection with the poppy flower, and the detail of the single eye, the clues are really starting to line up. All of this shows how these Halloween artworks may have been a kind of hidden preview of what we will see in Chapter 5. Thank you for watching the video until the end. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss the next updates on Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. Bye bye.